Am I the asshole here for agreeing to an open relationship and then sleeping with someone else? Hi Reddit. So my girlfriend, 24 female, and I, 23 male, have been going through a very rough time lately, and it all boiled over in the past few days. We've been together for 3 years and things were going well for the most part. We got along and we would rarely fight. Even when we did, we would often both cool down and talk it out not long after. However, about 2 weeks ago, my girlfriend approached me and asked if I wanted to open our relationship. I was immediately shocked, and I almost thought that she was joking at first. She said that she really loves me and wants to be with me, but before we get more serious, she wants to get more experience. She was my first everything, and she's been with 2 other guys. I shot down the idea, and I told her that I wasn't comfortable with it. She kept badgering me about it, but eventually relented when she realized that I wasn't budging, and that seemed like the end of it. However, a few days later, she came to me again and asked me more aggressively about it, and was insinuating that we might have to take a break if we can't just try opening up our relationship for a few months. I smell a cheater. Considering it was basically we take a break or I just give her this, I relented and said that we could open up the relationship. 2 days later, last Friday, I got home from work and saw she was dressed up, and I asked what for. She said that she was going out to the bar with her friends and that she wouldn't be back until tomorrow. I immediately recognized what this meant and asked if she would rather spend the night in with me, but she said she really wanted to do this. Eventually she left, and I was left sitting alone watching TV getting drunk. I got sad, so I called one of my close friends, 23 female, and was telling her about the situation. After we talked for a while, I asked her if she wanted to come over and drink because I was feeling like shit being alone. After she got there and we hung out for a bit, drinking and discussing the open relationship and how upset I was, my friend suggested that if my girlfriend was essentially cheating on me, I may as well enjoy the perks of an open relationship too. I'm sure you could see what happened there, and I won't get into details, but it made me feel a lot better. Flash forward to the next morning, and I wake up to my girlfriend freaking out, asking me what the hell my friend and I were doing in our bed. I told her what happened, and she got mad. She told me that she didn't even do anything last night, and ended up crashing at her friend's house. She now wants to close our relationship back off, and make me prove my loyalty for cheating on her. We never discussed any rules or anything like that, so I really don't see how I did anything wrong. So am I the asshole for participating in the open relationship that my girlfriend suggested? No, screw your girlfriend. She got exactly what she deserved here. It's actually only open for me and not for you. You're a cheating scumbag. I'll be honest, OP, this looks like breakup territory to me. And if she can't be transparent with you about it and she can't respect the open relationship that she threatened you into, then why stick around with someone like this? She's genuinely a waste of oxygen, a waste of the 2 brain cells she has smashing together, and a waste of space. It's just disrespect from her all round, and I wouldn't take that if I was you. I'd just kick her out. But hey, you do you. You keep her around if you want to. That would be really entertaining. Individual Fox-like says, not the asshole. She pressured you into agreeing to something that you didn't want, didn't set any rules, and showed a complete disregard for your feelings. You did nothing wrong. You were open, and you had no rules about telling each other anything because you had no rules at all. In the future, though, don't agree to something you don't want. Breaking up when she wouldn't stop pressuring you was the right move and would have saved you some of the coming mess. Post Sector says, while I consider what OP did to be fair game, I agree that the wiser move would have been to immediately break up when she had dropped the ultimatum. Roer says, I think this was the ultimate move. He basically showed her what it really meant to be in an open relationship, and she didn't like it. But still, he needs to end the relationship now. And Psychotic Hottie says, this relationship isn't equal. Just break it off. She had big expectations of her ability to pull men and wanted to get it out of her system. You didn't even have to try, so she's angry. Not the asshole, but don't pretend that this is salvageable. I don't have an issue with open relationships, but this isn't how they form and work. And OP replies, yeah, I'm accepting the fact that there's no coming back from this. And OP comes back with an update and says, Hi Reddit, it's been a while, and a lot has happened since I last posted. A ton of people were inquiring about how the whole situation played out and asking me for an update. It's been an incredibly hectic month for me, but things have started to settle down, and I'm ready to update. So for starters, my girlfriend and I ended up officially breaking up a few days after my initial post. It was not a pretty scene. She kept calling me a cheater and telling me what a piece of shit I was for cheating on her. I took this for a few days while I tried to figure out what to do, but eventually I snapped back at her one day. I should have tried to keep my cool, but I told her that she is genuinely the stupidest person I've ever met in my life for thinking an open relationship would work out, and it's her fault that everything blew up. Oh, preach, my brother. I told her that I played by her rules, and it's not my fault that I found someone to hook up with faster than she could. She told me that she didn't want to cheat on me, she wanted to explore, and that I should have understood. Understand what? What does an open relationship mean to her? What? We went in circles arguing for a bit, but I eventually told her to get out of my apartment. I pay rent, and my name is on the lease, and I had to threaten to call the cops before she realized I was serious. She, of course, then broke down crying, saying that she had nowhere to go, and told me that she loved me and wanted to make things work, and blah blah blah. I held firm and told her to leave. After she was out, I immediately felt better and realized that that relationship was terrible for me. The next day, I called up my friend, who I slept with in the original post, and asked if she wanted to come over and drink and game. She said yes, and of course, given what happened last time, we ended up hooking up again. My ex ended up coming by the next day to pick up the rest of her stuff, and boy, let me tell you, she was not happy to see my friend. She didn't start anything, but I could tell by the way she was acting that she was seething. My friend and I ended up talking more and more after that, until I eventually officially asked her out, and she said yes. We've been together for the past month, and to say that this is a healthier and better relationship would be an understatement. I have been friends with her for a long time, and I think we've both always sort of had a thing for each other, but never really acted on it until we were basically handed the perfect opportunity by my ex. We have a lot more in common, and we're a lot better at communicating with each other, and so far this whole relationship has been amazing. Thank you all for the advice on the previous post. I really appreciate it. Bra Eunice says, not the asshole. She was clearly not on the same page about the open relationship and tried to manipulate you with accusations and guilt trips. You held your ground, and it sounds like you ended up in a much better situation. And OP replies, yeah, I'm a lot happier now. Know How to Be Stupid says, I'm confused about what your ex thought being in an open relationship meant. Shelly replies to that, I go out and have my fun while you stay at home and wait for me. Am I the Crazy One says, I didn't even do anything. Translation, the guy I wanted to bone didn't want to bone me. Nah, she definitely screwed the guy she's had her eye on and may have been cheating with already. She just didn't think that OP would do anything and lied after the fact to avoid looking like an even more obvious hypocrite. Yeah, I find it really hard to believe that the girlfriend didn't do anything. Why'd she come back the next morning then if she didn't? Where was she sleeping? Whose house was she at? Are we really going to believe her friends if the friends say, oh yeah, no, she just crashed at my place? Why would you crash at their place if we've just opened a relationship up? Too many questions, not enough answers, and no trust. There is no universe where I believe that she did not do anything. Because yeah, it would have made her look 10 times worse if she had just come back from sleeping with someone she had her eyes on to OP sleeping with someone and being like, oh, I know that I just slept with someone, but this is cheating. What I did was not cheating. Thank God they broke up. That is just too much mess, and I'm here for it. Thank you for sharing your story, OP. But what about you guys? What did you think of this one? Am I being too hard on them? Let me know in the comments. Now let's go to another story. This one was posted by user Angry Frustrated Wife, titled, Am I the asshole for calling my husband's mistress fat and old? I use fake names in this one. So I, 44 female, have been so emotional for several weeks. I can't trust my own judgment. Starting around Christmas 2023, I noticed a change in my husband Justin, 44 male. He's usually an affectionate and sexual person, but our sex life went downhill. The summer of 2023 was when our son Randell, 19 male, moved out to university. With Justin and I alone in the house, we were having sex almost every day before the dip. Other suspicious things started happening. He's going out without me more, women's perfume on his changes, being more secretive with his devices, etc. Early September, I managed to get in his laptop while he was asleep. I was expecting to find evidence of an affair, and I had a picture in my head of what the woman would look like. I found a mountain of evidence. There were nude selfies of her, videos of her masturbating, messages exchanged, etc. She didn't look like what I was expecting. She looked at least 50 and at least 200 pounds. My husband is very fit and so am I. He's Hollywood handsome, so I was expecting like some thin 27-year-old woman. I sent as much evidence to my email and socials as I can. I showed my sister Betty, 47 female, the evidence. I was so emotional that I was insensitive with my words, especially since my sister had a weight problem. I called my husband's mistress a fat old slug. Betty said that I shouldn't be talking about another woman like that. I was so enraged, and I asked Betty how she could defend this woman who's been screwing my husband. Betty said that it's no excuse to body shame. I just started crying, and Betty hugged me. Obviously, my judgment is compromised, and I have a bias against my husband's mistress. I hate her so much. But did I go too far with my words? Am I the asshole? Edit. To clear up some things, by the messages, the mistress does know. Justin and her talk about me a lot. She sends happy emojis when Justin talks about how much sexier she is. Justin has messaged her that I'm too thin and muscular. Yes, I am leaving him. I already have a divorce attorney. Even with everything I originally shared, Justin has messaged the mistress that he never loved me. He messaged that he loves her. Second edit. I used to be overweight until around age 21. I would have gained a lot of weight if Justin had asked me to. Me and the mistress look so much alike apart from the weight. And she's older than me. And third edit. The results are mixed, but I do think that I am the asshole. I'll apologize to my sister. I'll try best to avoid insulting the mistress's looks. I also hope everyone who reads this update avoids insulting the mistress's looks. If she's making fun of you and insulting you to your husband when she knows that he's cheating, I feel like you can kind of say whatever you want at that point. It's really messed up by the both of them. Whatever you say is minuscule in comparison to the damage that both of those two are doing, especially to you, and especially if they continue saying it after knowing that you know. I think you're not the asshole for that one. Pristine Mastodon says, there's a caveat to the girl code. When a woman is knowingly banging your husband, you can call her whatever you see fit. It's the law, not the asshole. Random internet stranger says, especially since the mistress is knowingly hooking up with a married man and making fun of the wife. Mistress broke the girl code. Therefore, she is no longer protected by girl code from the betrayed wife. And AMC's The Working Dead says, I mean, it's not great, but damn Betty, read the room. It's not about your personal insecurities right now. Swallow it for later and tell your sister the woman looks like a dropped lasagna and probably smells like shag carpet in a home with long-haired dogs and no open windows. Also, OP, get tested. Always the first thing to do in this scenario. OP comes back with an update and says, thank you to all who left constructive comments. Even if you called me an asshole, I appreciate your comment as long as it was constructive. The person who had been my emotional support during this was Justin's sister Kelly, 49 female. Before last evening, I'd been slowly moving out my own stuff into Kelly's home. Last evening, Kelly did me the favor of telling Justin's parents Bob, 72 male, and Anne, 71 female. Yesterday evening, I took the last of my stuff and went to stay at Kelly's until I can find a place. I made sure to video chat my son Randell first. I can't even remember everything I said, so I'll give you the main points. I told him that he's the most important thing to his father and I, that we love him, but we are getting divorced. I told him that his father was cheating on me, and I told him how to find the mistress Vicky, 58 female, on social media. I told my son he doesn't have to hate her, and that he doesn't have to defend me against his father. I told him that I was at Kelly's house, and he said he'll visit this weekend. I told him I love you, and he said I love you too. I video chatted my husband Justin. The first thing I said was, "Our son, your parents, your sister and I all know that you are cheating." I got some sick satisfaction from the look on his face. I used his mistress's real full name, and I said she looks like me. Justin tried to speak, but I cut him off to say that our son and his parents hate him. Justin was apologizing, and I said I don't care. I told him to just make this divorce as smooth as possible. I don't care to fight for anything. I asked him to do this for me as a favor and preserve our son's old room as is. He agreed to do so I ended the video chat. He tried to call again, but I ignored it. This morning is when I video chatted my sister Betty, but before the video chat, I sent Betty some of the messages that Justin had sent to Vicky, where Justin body shamed me. In the video chat, I apologized for body shaming Vicky and said that I wouldn't do it again. Betty apologized for bringing that up in the moment. I told Betty that I was staying at Kelly's. I then asked Betty if she believes her husband loves and finds her sexy. Betty said yes. I told her then she should start acting like it. She asked if she can come to Kelly's this weekend, and I told my sister that I have enough support. I told her she doesn't need to come and that she should enjoy her husband who loves her. I was really petty yesterday and this morning, but that's the pettiest that I plan on allowing myself to be. I'm in a privileged position that I don't need to fight for money from my soon-to-be ex-husband. I hope that he's made this easy, especially since our son knows everything. I'm okay considering everything. Edit: I do not want my original post, nor my update, to encourage the hatred of overweight women. I had made a mistake of calling her a fat old slug. When I was ages 18, 19, and 20, I was an overweight woman. Hopefully I'll live long enough to be an old woman. I hate Vicky, but not because of her appearance. The Patriot 74 says, just don't shortchange yourself during the divorce. There is no need to be magnanimous with your cheating and lying ex. Good luck. Miss Spooncat says, to be honest, I can't judge a woman who was cheating for insulting the mistress. That being said, you were incredibly kind and self-aware for retracting your statements about her weight. I don't know that I would have reacted so respectfully or gracefully. OP replies, I still feel guilty though. I've been on an emotional roller coaster. Miss Spooncats replies, it's okay to feel guilty. It shows that you are a good person. A lesser person wouldn't feel guilt and would just chalk it up to, well, she's the mistress, so of course she deserves it. You feel guilt despite how you've been wronged, which tells me that you must be incredibly kind and compassionate. And OP replies to that, thank you, which is also why I gave her a fake name and I tell her age in the update post. In my original post, it felt dehumanizing how I only referred to her as the mistress or my husband's mistress. Vicky is a person I hate, but still a person. I don't want to allow myself to act in a way that I ended up hating myself. I also don't want to be a bad role model to my son. And Dopey comes back one day later with another update and says, yesterday, Sunday, I called my sister Betty and I told her that she can come over to my sister-in-law's house. Betty brought her husband Mike, 51 male. I gave Betty a proper apology for shaming Vicky, the mistress. I told Betty that I was angry about her pushback about me body shaming my husband's mistress, but that I also got angry at Betty for stupid stuff. I started viewing memories of Betty and my husband Justin in a different light. Like how when Betty uses our pool, Justin would suggest that Betty wears a two-piece. Or all the times Justin called Betty sexy, or all the times he said that she didn't need to lose weight. I was also comparing my relationship with Justin and Betty's relationship with Mike. The majority of the time, I would have to initiate things with Justin. Also, he never did PDA. But Betty often mentions how Mike can't get enough of her, and I've seen how Mike is always all over her in public. I also noticed a pattern of when Justin was the most sexual and physically affectionate towards me was when I was on my period and bloated. Betty apologized to me again. She also mentioned how awful Justin's messages to Vicky about my body are. I told Betty that I've been jealous of her body since I've seen those messages. Betty said she's been jealous of my body since I lost the weight in my early 20s. I told my sister she should go to therapy if she feels that bad about her body. She said she will, and I told her that I would need therapy for everything that happened to me with my marriage. I also saw my son Randell, father-in-law Bob, and mother-in-law Anne in person last weekend. I didn't talk about Vicky with my son. Bob, Anne, and I looked through Vicky's Instagram, and Anne roasted her. In almost all of Vicky's Instagram pictures and videos, she's sweaty, messy, and wearing revealing clothing. A lot of her pictures and videos are of her at the club. In some videos, she makes references to pot. Anne called Vicky trashy and gross. She also said Vicky looks like she smells bad. Oh my god. What's wrong with you people? That's just so mean at this point. I enjoyed hearing that a little too much. My mum Jen, 69 female, lives in another state, so I didn't get to see her in person. Betty and I video chatted my mum. My mum is literally a bigger woman than Vicky, but my mum did some fat shaming. Betty and I just let my mum say all of that stuff about Vicky. I know that my son, father-in-law, mother-in-law, and sister-in-law have all spoken to Justin via video chat. Justin got heat from all of them, and all of them refused to see him in person. Justin says he still wants to talk to me, but I still haven't said anything since that video chat. There is nothing he can say. I get it. He wanted the curvy bad girl, and he's free to have fun with her. Accurate Mulberry says, "You've now apologized to Betty 3 times when she deserved none. Glad everything else is okay, but stop apologizing for someone else's insecurities." OP replies, "Betty is now angry with our mum because of our mum's comments on Vicky's body. This stupid thing is never ending. Could all the members of my family just stop making comments on Vicky's body? There are other things to criticize about Vicky." And Accurate Mulberry replies, "This has nothing to do with Vicky's gross body though. It has everything to do with Betty's insecurities." OP replies, "Honestly, I had to tell my son, sister, mum, sister's husband, husband's sister, husband's mum, and husband's dad to stop criticizing Vicky's appearance because of my sister. But also my son didn't appreciate the comments from my husband's mum. My son has a girlfriend who sweats a lot, and he didn't appreciate my mother-in-law insinuating that just because Vicky sweats a lot, that means she likely smells bad. Vicky is living her life, happily screwing my husband. Me and my family talk about her and fight about the things that we say about her. It is so ridiculous." The procrastinator says, "Well, this was a mess." And Dear Occupant says, "It seems pretty straightforward to me. Opie had more difficulty handling the body shaming than she did with the peccant husband. Imagine the soon-to-be ex's reaction when he asks his sister if his wife ever talks about him and finds out that she spent the entire time since they split apologizing for insulting his bang buddy and hasn't really spent much thought on him at all." Oh my god, she's just living rent-free in this family's head, and that is so unhealthy. How are they all enabling each other? I don't understand the thought process. Did no one ever step in and be like, okay guys, we're taking this too far. We need to shut our mouths. We can't shut up about it. It's not even about the cheating anymore. We're just bullying Vicky for smelling bad and being fat. Are we the bad guys at this point? I get it to a point. I get the shaming to a point. I understand. But why is it still going on? It doesn't make any sense to me. Just chill. If you guys see people like this in your lives that just won't stop, can you please just tell them to chill? That's all I have on this one. I'm tired. I'm tired of this story. Let me know what you guys thought about that one, though. That was quite an interesting debacle that OP has found themselves in.
Am I the asshole for bringing my daughter to a child-free wedding? Hi everyone, I'm a 19-year-old mum to my beautiful 2-year-old daughter, Amelia. Just a bit of a backstory. Last year, I was asked to be a bridesmaid in a family friend's wedding. I was thrilled and immediately said yes, even though it was a child-free event. I had arranged for a babysitter, but about a week before the wedding, she informed me that she would no longer be in the city and couldn't watch my daughter. Given the short notice, I approached the bride and asked if I could bring Amelia to the wedding, as I didn't have time to find another trusted babysitter. My daughter is overall a very easygoing baby. She's comfortable with people and happy as long as she's fed. The bride knew this since she'd watched my daughter on multiple occasions before, and she happily agreed.
saying that having Amelia there would make the wedding photos even more special. The wedding was going smoothly, though I noticed a few stares from the groom's parents. Amelia stayed with my sisters for most of the day, but during the reception, I took her with me to congratulate the couple. As I approached with Amelia in my arms, the groom's mother suddenly commented, "You shouldn't have brought the baby to a child-free wedding, especially when she doesn't fit the family." Oh shit, what a gut punch, that's crazy. Ow. I was completely taken aback. For context, my daughter is mixed. I'm half white and half Hispanic, and her father is black. I've been called whitewashed because I'm not in contact with my Hispanic family, so I knew exactly what she meant by saying my daughter didn't fit the family. The bride looked shocked, and the groom immediately stood up and led his parents away. Taking this as my cue, I decided that it was time to leave. I made the rounds to say goodbye to everyone and put Amelia in her stroller. As I was leaving, the bride came over to apologize for her in-laws' behavior. I was upset, but I knew that it wasn't her fault, so I simply wished her luck and left. Now, about a week after the wedding, I got tagged in a Facebook post, which is strange because I don't use Facebook. The post read, "I'm outraged that my grandchildren weren't allowed at this event, but when a teen mother who couldn't be responsible enough to leave her child with the father brings her baby, it's perfectly fine." The post was from the groom's mother. To make things worse, she's also been telling family members that I'm lying about what she said regarding my daughter's appearance. So now I'm wondering, am I the asshole? Jesus Christ, the mother-in-law is a piece of work and a half, that's for sure. Actually, what's her problem? Oh no, my grandkids couldn't come to the wedding, so I just had to be racist to this one because I hate them. Yeah, nice logic. Really sick logic there, actually. I can see why you think you might be the asshole in this situation because of the shitstorm that's going on online from this absolute vile excuse of a human. But rest assured, you're not. I understand she's been lying to people and telling them a complete falsification of what happened. But the truth is, you didn't do anything wrong in this instance. She's just a terrible human being that if I were that married couple, I'd be cutting her off. That's not excusable behavior. That's not something that will change ever with a person like that, I'd imagine. That's not someone that would be welcome in my life if I were them. Ambitioso says, "Not the asshole." Sounds like the groom's mother was upset by the no kids policy and wrongly took it out on you. It also sounds like the groom's mother is a dim-witted racist dingus. Ale or Shine says, "This is 100% what happened, and I feel really bad for OP's friend here. OP is not the asshole, although coming into this post, I thought it would be another story of, I had no other option, so I did this against the couple's wishes, and was pleasantly surprised. And I can't even say the groom holds any blame, because there's not enough information here to know what he said to his mother when he led her away, or what he did about the post. But the bride seemed to have been perfectly nice about the situation, and now that horrible woman is her mother-in-law." And Monarch of Donuts says, "Oh, not the asshole. I opened this thinking that I might vote differently. It's not cool to just swan into a child-free wedding with a kid, but you had responsibly made arrangements that fell through, then correctly asked for permission to bring your daughter. That permission was generously given by the bride. It was not the groom's mother's place to decide who could and could not attend. Given the nasty things she said on that day, and the drama she is so determined to stir up online, it's very obvious that the groom's mum is the asshole in this situation. You did your best in a rough situation, but she, on the other hand, only seems to be able to do her worst." And now there is an update to this situation, where OP says, "Hi again everyone. I first want to start off with a huge thank you for all the advice and reassurance. That said, before I go into this post, I've seen a few racist comments towards my daughter and remarks about my age and how I ruined my life. I'm extremely happy, and so is my daughter. She is beautiful, and it's terrible that people in this world will take their self-hate out on a 2-year-old. Anyways, I wanted to give an update and clarify a few things after reading the feedback I received. First off, I do have a Facebook account, but I don't use it often.
I only found out about the post because someone sent it to me on messages, which is how I saw the groom's mother's comments. Regarding Amelia's father, he couldn't take her that weekend because he lives a bit farther away and struggles when plans change last minute, especially when it's not his scheduled day to have her. On top of that, my family members who I would trust to watch Amelia were all attending the wedding, so there weren't many other options. Now, some of you mentioned that I could have dropped out of the wedding, and I want to address that. Dropping out of the bridal party was actually the first option that I presented to the bride when I realized I couldn't find a new babysitter. I didn't want to complicate her big day. However, she didn't want me to drop out and reassured me that it would be fine to bring Amelia. So while bringing my daughter was the second option, the bride did have the choice of me stepping down if she preferred that. Yesterday, I spoke with the bride again, and she told me that she explained everything to her mother-in-law, making it clear that it wasn't my fault Amelia was there. It was a decision made between her and her husband. She also revealed the real reason behind the child-free rule. It wasn't directed at all kids. The bride had been trying to avoid having her mother-in-law's grandchildren there because they had been nightmares at other events, as described by the bride herself. The bride didn't want to cause any more drama by openly sharing that reason, so she kept it under the radar. I feel a lot better knowing that all my friends still support my decision, and I'm relieved that the real issue wasn't about me or Amelia. While I will definitely be more cautious with similar situations in the future, I'm glad I prioritized Amelia's safety and well-being. Thanks again to everyone who shared their thoughts. I truly appreciate it. Kitty So Perfect says, "So OP didn't even break the rules. Mother-in-law just had beef with her own grandkids. Drama alert." Dimmyrag says, "So mother-in-law's awfulness skipped a generation. Too bad her son didn't say anything after her comments. I hope now future events will be mother-in-law's grandchildren free." Eki Flump says, "To be honest, the way that I read the OP, the groom dealt with it as sensibly as possible given the situation and timing. Family barbecue is where you light them up, not your wedding day." Or on Facebook after the wedding, Mary O'Marilyn says, "Mother-in-law sucks 100%, and I doubt that marriage will last long unless the groom does something about his mom. We had the inverse experience, funnily enough. Child-free wedding explicitly written on save-the-dates and invites, except for her nieces. Some people were pretty pissed and left after the ceremony, and then bride got upset that the rest of us weren't on the dance floor, because toddlers in puffy dresses are running around all over it and getting overstimulated. One saw my white Russian and came wanting a drink, so people weren't enjoying the bar anymore." Yeah, look, these things happen, and at least it wasn't the inverse experience, OP. I'm glad that it's water under the bridge for the most part, and this seems like as peaceful a resolution as you could really ask for. There was proper communication all around, the bride's feelings weren't hurt, this is a them problem, not a you problem. I don't think there's any more that you could have done here. Good job. But what do you guys think about this one? Let me know down in the comments below. Anyway guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!